Welcome back to The Living Years, my journey through the films and albums of each year of my life. This episode begins the top 40 favorite albums of 1976. Notice I said favorite and not best. This is only a reflection of my personal taste, not an attempt to judge them by any other standards. A review of a few other ground rules. Each artist can only get one spot, even if they have several great albums from the same year. Live albums are eligible because they're uniquely different entities, but hits collections are not, so they don't count. Okay, let's get started with the debut album from the Runaways. That is in the 40th spot. Among others, this all-female teenage rock group contained future solo artists Joan Jett and Rita Ford. This early material has tons of energy, but is fairly rough around the edges. You can definitely tell there is much potential here. Dakota Fanning and Kristen Stewart were in a film about this band about 12 years ago. At number 39 are the Tramps, known for their big Disco Inferno hit, the title track of this album. Their soul sound and rich harmony vocals set them apart from others. Every track here is great, especially if you're wanting to shake your groove thing. My 38th favorite album of 76 is Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice's musical Evita. This was the original concept album before any productions were even staged, much like they did in '70 with Jesus Christ Superstar. The big hit here is Don't Cry For Me, Argentina, but it is full of memorable numbers about the life and death of Eva Perón. At 37 is Bob Dylan's album Desire. This is our first repeat artist from the previous year's countdown. His album Blood on the Tracks was much higher than this one though, but it is what it is. My favorite track here is Hurricane, which is protesting the murder conviction against Reuben Carter. I was introduced to this song in the Denzel Washington film of 1999. The rest of the album is fine. Having Emmylou Harris on background vocals really sweetens the deal, but I'm sure some will say this is a little too low on the countdown. Which they might also say about 36. The Eagles' Hotel California. This is revered as one of the greatest albums of their career, but I honestly preferred the previous one, which took the 14th spot on my 1975 countdown. My favorites here are Wasted Time, The Last Resort, and of course the title track. At 35 is Tom Waits with Small Change. He continues to do his thing and do it well. The juxtaposition of his gravelly voice over beautiful music is perfect. Some of his more clever moments here are in the rowdier jazz songs like Step Right Up. In the 34th spot is Emmylou Harris with Luxury Liner. There are lots of diverse songs here, like a Chuck Berry cover. Her voice is the highlight as always. It never matters to me what the song is as long as she's the one singing it. But there are some famous cameos here by folks like Dolly Parton and Ricky Skaggs. At 33, Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy. This album contains their biggest hit, The Boys Are Back in Town, but is actually strong from start to finish. All of the rest of it was new to me, and I really enjoy their sound, particularly the singer's delivery. My 32nd favorite album of 76 is from the Godfather of Soul, James Brown. The mid-70s were not a particularly successful time for him until this album, Get Up Off of That Thing. The title track was a big hit and the rest of the album is solid too. It's great to see the master of funk show all the younger bands how it's done. At 31, the self-titled debut album from the Starland Vocal Band. You may only know them from their big hit, Afternoon Delight, which is here in all its glory. But the rest of the album really impressed me as well. At times it resembles ABBA for the sheer pop nature of the music and the strong harmony vocals. There's even a little a cappella here for them to really show off their blended voices. Number 30 is the whopping 3 album Wings Over America, a live collection from McCartney and Company. This is really the best way to enjoy Paul's post-Beatles years. He thrives on the stage, which shows here. In addition to lots and lots of Wings songs, there are 5 Beatles classics included as well. In the 29th spot is the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, on the soundtrack of Sparkle. Curtis Mayfield wrote the music, Irene Cara starred in the film, but Aretha was given the honor of singing, on the recordings. It's a great collection and a boost for her after 2 low-selling albums. Billy Joel is at number 28 with Turnstiles. There are plenty of great tunes here. His piano work remains heavily featured. Highlights for me include New York State of Mind and Angry Young Man. At 27 is a particularly interesting find, the Wild Chupatulas. This group comes out of a very interesting Black Indian Mardi Gras tradition and features an early appearance of the Neville Brothers. This is really unique, and I'd never heard of it until putting this project together. One of the best-selling live albums of all time is at number 26, Frampton Comes Alive. There really is a lot to like here. I really only knew the big hit, Baby I Love Your Way, before now, but every track on this double LP is great. Peter Frampton and his band are incredibly talented, and it shows. My 25th favorite album of 76 is Elton John's Blue Moves. This is a bit of a dark horse in his catalog, the first since 72 to not top the charts, but I really enjoyed it. It's an indulgent and experimental double album. It was definitely worth my time. At 24 is AC/DC with their first international release, High Voltage, which combines tracks from their first 2 Australian albums. The highlight for me is the lead track, It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll, with the rarely featured bagpipes. This was also the year of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, which shows a good amount of growth. I won't say maturity though. Have you read these lyrics? Marvin Gaye is at 23 with I Want You, the belated follow-up to 1973's Let's Get It On. This is yet another great example of what he does best, getting you in the mood for some sweet loving. At number 22 is John Denver with his album Spirit. Radio play and sales were starting to decline for him, but the quality of his material remained high. This is an amazing set of songs, my favorite of which is Come and Let Me Look in Your Eyes. Finally, closing out this episode at number 21, the debut album from Warren Zevon. Well, kind of. There's a 1979 album that was a flop, so most people prefer to pretend this was the first one. There's already plenty of evidence here of how great a storyteller and songwriter he was. I'm so grateful to have had the chance to absorb this early entry in his catalog. That leaves us with my top 20 albums of 1976. We will cover 10 more of these next time. See you then. Thanks for watching.